Ladies and gentlemen, announcing the arrival of Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Seri Profesor Dr. Noor Inayah Yaakob, Dewan Negara Senator. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to everyone. Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Seri Profesor Dr. Noor Inayah Yaakob, Dewan Negara Senator, Professor Emeritus Dr. Sureshwara Ramadas, Chairman IPv6 Forum Malaysia, Datuk Dr. Hari Narayanan, Chief Executive Officer, Penang Skills Development Centre, Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Rashid Khan Muhammad Jagaruddin, Dean RCSI and UCD Malaysia Campus, Mr. Tan Chian Ming, Chief Technology Officer, Penang Skills Development Centre, esteemed speakers, honoured guests, panelists, industry leaders, academicians, researchers, students and participants. Welcome one and all to the Cybersecurity and AI for Smart Industry Symposium 2026. For your kind information, this is the second version of such an event that we've done. The event that we did last year was also in collaboration with PSDC and RUFC. And the reason we are so focused on this theme of cybersecurity and cyber safety is because no matter how reluctant we are, no matter how or what perspective we take a look at in terms of the technology integration, we are always bound by the security considerations that we have to take into account whenever we want to integrate technology, whether into manufacturing, whether into medicine, whether into logistics or any other sector for that matter. And it gives us great pleasure to also welcome YB Senator Datuk Seri for her presence here today and her strong support being a newly appointed senator to the Dewan Negara. She is very much supportive of the initiatives in technology, initiatives in cybersecurity that is being carried out in the state of Penang. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, may we kick things off with a welcome address from Professor Emeritus Dr. Sureshwara Ramadas, Chairman of IPv6 Forum Malaysia. Please join me in welcoming him to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. YB Senator, Datuk Seri Professor Dr. Noor Inayah Yaakob, Datuk Dr. Hari Narayanan, old friend, Professor Datuk Dr. Abdul Rashid, Dean RCSI at UCD Malaysia Campus, Dr. Tan Chiang Ming, Chief Technology Officer, PSDC, esteemed speakers and panelists, industry leaders, students and guests. So we are here today to talk about an issue that affects all of us daily, not just people who are working in the field of computers, but something that is now affecting even those of us who need to do any form of connectivity on the internet. 20 years ago, your mother wouldn't use her handphone to make payments on a bill. 15 years ago also, she probably wouldn't have done that. Today, your mother needs to pay most of her bills using a smartphone. If she doesn't, some of them reject. They say, no, please use our app to make the payment. Almost coming to a point of no choice, you have to do that, right? During COVID, we were taught how to use My Sajatra before you can go into any place. Which meant if you didn't have a mobile or a smartphone, you couldn't access places. That was how mandatory the smartphone has become 5 years ago. Now, you've got people like your mom and dad using their smartphone to make payments. A lot of times, they don't fully understand the technology. It's not for them to understand the technology. It's not even for us to understand the technology. Why? Because we are users of that application. And then a phone call comes to say, oh, you used that application wrongly. Let me help you. Give me your user ID and password and I'll help you, guide you through it. Human nature, we trust. Malaysians, we trust more. And it's just Malaysian nature, we trust in people. So someone calls you and says, oh, I'm going to help you. You say, oh, thanks. You give him the information. More likely, you may be more cautious because you're more exposed, but your grandmother is not. And she's going to give that information. Ini hasil jabatan hasil dalam negeri lah. I forgot to file my income tax this year. What she didn't realize, after 60, you probably don't need to file income tax. But, they called and said, oh, if you don't file, we're going to put you in jail. Allah. Then he goes and file. Oh, you're not IC, no IC, need no IC saya. This is my name. This is the account lah. Ini yang saya ada. You pergi tengok saya punya account tu tak ada wang. 50,000 saja. Next day, the 50,000 gone. Next day, it's gone. So this is a consistent happening. And now the banks in Malaysia have tightened their rules, their regulations. I don't know if you all have realized, you try to do a transfer, there's a 24-hour waiting period. Just to let you all know, I was one of those who worked on that rule and regulation. Put a waiting period. Why? Because that gives you time. In case you later realize, 5 hours later, your son comes and tells you, hey, what did you do? That's the wrong thing. You still have 17 hours to call, 16 hours to call the bank and let them know this is a fraud. Don't transfer the money. They will still hold it for you. So you still have 24 hours for any new account. Once you transfer to that account, the second time you transfer to that account, it's immediate. First time you do it, they're going to hold. This is advice given by us, Bank Negara implemented it. There are other steps. Two-factor authentication. Two-factor authentication also, they will get that information from you. So you have to be careful. Okay. So there are other ways and means that people, the banks in Malaysia are doing to secure this. We are one of the most, I don't know why Malaysians are being attacked, one of the most vulnerable. So the rules are being set in place, the punishment is being increased. The punishment those days was, 500 or 5,000 ringgit fine, that's all. Steal 5 million, you get 5,000 ringgit fine. So now the rules are being changed. Right? It's being passed in Parliament. And with such things comes the need for awareness seminars. So that's where conferences, seminars, exposures like what you're going to hear today, be made aware of how not to fall into the traps, right, of the scammers. Not just scammers, ada banyak lagi. Many things. They come to you. The scammer needs an account for the money to go in. They go find someone, some student and say, look, hey, can I borrow your IC? Nothing. I just want to open an account. Just need to transfer some money. After that, we will close the account for you. For this favor, I give you 1,000. Student is happy. 1,000 ringgit more. Can buy new phone. Okay lah. Satu hari saja, 2 hari saja. Okay, 2 hari saja. Itu saya punya wang dari overseas lah. Jam sana dia akan hantar. Okay. I mean, the logic is that they create a story very logical. They even show you proof. The first transaction will be from overseas or something. You see, sudah datang. Oh, dia masih ada lagi satu transaksi. Satu hari lagi boleh saya bayar 100-200 lagi. Okay, you already proof what. That's it. Then secondly, they will receive about 500,000 from different fraud accounts. They will take out the money, they will leave. They will run. And then when the police come to investigate, it's your name and your account. These are just one or two things that I'm highlighting. There are many ways that scammers work today. Right? To catch older people, they will send young lovers to call you. Oh, you, Pachi ini handsome lah. That's Nawa. Nawa, you got call right now. Pachi ini, Nawa, you banyak handsome lah.
Abang.
Nawa. Tapi after a little while, Nawa, boleh bagi sikit duit kan, Nawa? Saya stuck lah. Stuck di mana? Stuck di Indonesia, di Bandung ni. Antik aja 2,000, boleh bagi ke? It start like that. Yeah, that one, they won't go after the young people, they go after the old people. The one they know old people got money. So many different ways, many different types of scammers. It's amazing, some of them. The ones I get called LHDN. Oh, you tak payah, you punya LHDN. Betul kan? Kita tak payah datang office saya, jumpa saya. Oh, tak boleh Encik, kita tak boleh datang office. Tak boleh kan? Tak apalah, kita jumpa di court saja. Terima kasih. Tak boleh. That's the best way to deal with them. Tolong hantar surat. Saya bagi address, tolong hantar surat. Cepat apa, kita hantar WhatsApp, you klik saja. Tak mau. Hantar surat. Saya bagi address. Those are the best ways. Go back to the old-fashioned way. Surat. Cannot click. Cannot take over my phone. Okay. So with that, I've just explained what the focus of today's talk is going to be on. It's going to be on cyber safety. Right? Cyber safety, not allowing your servers to get hacked. I even got some of my students to come and talk today. So I've given them my session. They will talk about how, in one of their classes they learned at the university, how to actually assess the security status of servers and the network. Right? And then you will have talks by other experts, including those from Cylance USM. They will talk about cyber safety. They've done many, and they have to keep doing it. We have to keep making the public aware. That's our responsibility. So enjoy yourselves today, listen, learn, and whatever you learn, please also spread the word. Teach the others as well, especially those within your family, those of them who are using mobile phones, expose them to all the different forms of scams that are going to be happening out there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Suresh, for his welcome address. Let us now welcome Dato Dr. Hari Narayanan, Chief Executive Officer, Penang Skills Development Center, for his welcome address. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Hari.
See how tall Prof is. Yang berhormat Senator Dato' Sri Profesor Dr. Nur Inayah Yaakob, Dewan Negara Senator, Professor Emeritus Dr. Sureswaran Ramadas, Chairman of APEC IPv6 Council and IPv6 Forum Malaysia. Professor Dr. Abdul Rashid Khan Mohammed Jagadin, Dean RCSI and UCD Malaysia Campus RUMC, distinguished speakers and panelists, industry leaders, esteemed partners, academicians and researchers, students and participants. A very, very good morning and welcome to PSDC. Prof just now talked about the impact of digitalization era, yeah, that affects all of us in various lives, in various forms. But, you know, I'll talk more about in terms of the industry situation. Right? So if you look at it from industrial revolution perspective, you will go through different phases. As you know, today we are talking about IR 4.0. I think in some instances, some countries are talking about IR 5.0. But all of this started with significant breakthroughs. Yeah, I think if we go back to the history, we looked at the steam-powered engines and machines that changed the lives of human beings. Then came electricity, and then, of course, the computers. And I think a lot of us, especially the baby boomers and the some of us here went through that particular revolution. And of course, the internet came about. Today, we are living through another defining moment, yeah, where artificial intelligence, AI, is accelerating innovation at an unprecedented rate. And Sam and I always talk about it, and there's a terminology on this thing called hyper-productivity and tetrational growth. No more what we call exponential growth. The prediction is that it's a tetrational growth. But there's one important question that we need to ask ourselves. And of course, all of us here, especially specifically in PSDC, what we do, we work on talent development to make sure that industry grows, industry is productive, industry is efficient, and so forth. But one key question that we tend not to kind of ask is, can we trust the intelligence that we are creating? Can we really trust? I was talking to Prof. Selva just now, and he said something to the effect that you build a house, and instead of having 3 or 4 windows, and probably 2 doors, you know, we create thousands of windows. Which window are you going to check whether it's open or closed? Yeah, that is the situation we are going through. You know, because the smarter our factories and our industries become, or our organizations become, the more vulnerable we become, or they become. Every connected machine, every automated process, and every AI-powered decision introduces new quote-unquote opportunities. But also, of course, with that, the risks, like what Prof spoke about just now. And you would have heard stories about certain industries, certain organizations being impacted by scam and ransomware. Now, that's something that is very popular. But there are many other companies that would not talk about it because it's detrimental for their business, detrimental. So there are many organizations that are impacted daily in terms of ransomware or in terms of whatever the scam and all the things. We know that there's one particular MNC that got impacted about several months ago, and it took them 3 days to recover. Yeah, 3 days to recover. And I've gone through certain organizations that we were impacted twice in 2 years, all right? And one of the things that we speak about in AI, and if you look at AI, there are a lot of benefits associated with it, definitely. And I'll give you some statistics. In 2024, in PSDC, we trained about 71 participants in AI-related programs. Yeah. Last year, 2025, we ended up training about 1,401 participants. And all of these participants are from industry, the current workforce. So there is an uptick in terms of the AI adoption, the AI interest, and the AI deployment. And resulting on that, I think that the most important thing we all have to remember, and I think that will be interesting in terms of what the panel discussion looks like. I wish that when we look at new technologies and so forth, or new enablers, if you want to call it, and I learned it from one of the speakers in another conference, do we bolt on cybersecurity or do we build in cybersecurity? Yeah? When you're looking at digitalization, when you're looking at networking, when you're looking at AI and so forth, are we saying, okay, cybersecurity needs to be bolted on, or do we actually build it, you know? And that is where we need to work on in that sense, right? So if you look at AI and cybersecurity, can no longer be discussed separately. It has to be integrated. Whenever we design or whenever we develop AI solutions, or for that matter, any digitalized solutions, we got to think about it. In manufacturing and product design that I came from, we call it design for manufacturing, design for safety, you know. So now we got to look at designing for AI safety, security, yeah. So today's symposium is therefore not simply about understanding new technologies, yeah. It is about ensuring that innovation remains secure, resilient, and responsible. As organizations embed or embraces AI and digital transformation, one of the greatest challenges they face is not the ability of the technology, but the ability of the talent with the right skills to implement, manage, and secure these technologies effectively for the organization. And so bridging the skill gap is essential if we are to realize the full impact of AI or any kind of digitalization in the industry. This is also why organizations like PSDC, United Skills Development Center, continue to bring together industry, academia, and technology leaders, not merely to exchange knowledge, but to translate ideas into practical capabilities that strengthens Malaysia's industries. Through programs such as today's symposium, we hope to facilitate the sharing of practical experiences, emerging technologies, and best practices that organizations can apply to build a more secure, resilient, and future-ready operations. I'm particularly pleased that today's program also marks the beginning of a new collaboration between the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland and the University College Dublin Malaysia campus, RUMC. And the Future Tech Academy, we branded the academic or the school within the PSDC, the college in PSDC, as Future Tech Academy, I think it was September last year, to give it its own identity and distinction. Through RUMC's Department of Medical Informatics, this collaboration focuses on strengthening digital and IT competencies by bridging healthcare, technology, and industry. It reflects our shared commitment to preparing future talent with interdisciplinary skills, and that is something that a lot of other countries are doing. Interdisciplinary skills needed to thrive in an integrated, increasingly digital and data-driven world. And we begin today's symposium. As we begin, I invite you to approach every discussion with one thought in mind. What we must do today to ensure the technologies shaping tomorrow remains secure, ethical, and beneficial for society. And one of the things that CNR is doing here is that as as I told you about the statistics of AI training programs in PSDC, we also realized, maybe a bit late, that safety and security is so critical that we need to introduce that part of it within the portfolio of AI programs that we're working on. And we would love to work with the experts here in terms of collaborating and make sure that we are, providing the exposure to our industry partners. We welcome partnership in this particular area. If each of us leave today with one new perspective, one meaningful connection, or one collaboration that turns into action, then this symposium will have achieved far more than simply sharing knowledge. Thank you for being here. And again, we appreciate the collaboration. And as Nancy spoke about, this is the second time we are having, and we hope that we will continue to have this symposium with a more wider audience, and we will continue to collaborate with REMC to do that. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, for your welcome address. Next, please join me in welcoming to the stage the Dean of RCSI and UCD Malaysia campus, Professor Dato Dr. Abdul Rashid Khan Mohammad Jagardin. Please give him a round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to everyone. We start with the salutations. Yang Berhormat Senator Datuk Seri Prof. Dr. Nur Inayah Yaakob, Prof. Emeritus Dr. Sureswaran Ramadas, Datuk Dr. Hari Narayan, Mr. Tan Chen Ming, Chief Technology Officer, esteemed speakers, panelists, industry panels, academicians, students, and participants. Now, when Prof. Suresh was talking about Abang Handsome, I'm happy to say no one ever called me Abang Handsome. So either I'm young, I'm really very ugly. So, either one of it, I don't know which one. So, I had this whole speech prepared for me. Thank you. But I'm not used to reading speeches that people prepare for me. I'm out of place. I'm not an AI or cyber or technology person. I'm a medical doctor, an old medical doctor, meaning that now technology is everything in medicine. So I'm a bit out of place. But it's fascinating for people like me because I love knowledge. And what I like actually in Japan is that whenever I go give lectures in Japan, you get secondary school students who have nothing to do with my subject coming in because they have this thirst for knowledge. And I think what Prof. Suresh was saying is so important that everybody should be aware. So I don't know how many here are not related to cyber or IT, and if there is, I applaud you for coming in and fulfilling your thirst for knowledge. Now, I never was very technologically keen. Same with AI until a few years ago when I was introduced to this. And I became so fascinated with it. It made my life so much easier. I am a researcher myself. So writing papers became easier, doing research became so much better. But as Prof. Dato' Ari was saying, you got to be careful the knowledge that you get. So that becomes itself the training ground for me to understand and learn. What exactly am I? Is the knowledge that is given to me is actual knowledge or is it garbage? So this became fascinating. So when the opportunity arose about starting bioinformatics in RUMC, so we were really very excited. I was very excited, to be honest with you, because I wanted to learn more about what's happening. And when I was told by Prof. Suresh, this is actually one of its kind program, if I'm not mistaken, anywhere in Malaysia. So that's really amazing. So I really, really hope that this opens up more ground for people to understand and learn. Medicine is a bit more difficult because at a certain age, if you don't start, you lose out. I don't think technology is that sense. If I had an opportunity, I would like to join the class as a student. But Prof. Suraj, unfortunately, is asking me to pay the fees. So I'm quite a miser, so I'm not going to pay fees. So I'll gain knowledge by attending events like this. In RUMC, we are very happy to say that, we're giving a lot of discount for students who are coming in. And the reason is not to make money per se. We can break even, I'm very happy. But what we're trying to do is start programs which are new, which are unique, which are different, and which is preparing students for the future that's coming and the future that's already here, to be honest, and how do we progress and move forward with that. I won't take up a lot of time, but thank you very much for the invitation, and I hope that we will have more collaborations and more, how would I say, knowledge sharing, especially among people who are not technologically advanced, people like me. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Abdul Rashid. As he rightly said, the purpose of the collaboration today and the MOU signing is actually to build a platform for PSDC's or Future Tech Academy's diploma in IT and diploma in computer engineering graduates